Yo, 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 what is going on, CoD Familia? It is your boy BN. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the 9 Gen 1 Season of Strife Dragonfall KvK groups. Final zone has been open between 1 to 2 days, and we're going to see how it is going, who's winning, who's losing, give you some deets. As always, if you enjoy the content, make sure you throw stuff, because that helps out a lot. So first group we're going to be taking a look at is the SOS 3-1. This is RK Echo GGRAC versus Kong EIS BXS and PTW. Now, you may remember we did a story coverage on this about a day and a half-ish ago, where we talked about some of the challenges and some of the facts that are just happening in this KvK, along with our thoughts. And at the moment, nothing has really changed for that, at least as it pertains to the final zone. If you remember, Pay to Win and Kong had pushed up exactly about this distance. Nothing else is really going on. Even if I zoom in, you can see no one's really prepping to remove their territory. So maybe they just don't care enough to do it, or maybe they worked something out and they're just okay with hanging out in there without anything else. However, as we move over here to the east, you can see that there is some PvP going on. And this is on the Zone 3, connecting GGRAC and BXS and PTW. At the moment, they are getting pushed back. I mean, you see all the pink, that's basically GGRAC, and I think also any farms or shell alliances, and then EIS and BXS are basically back here. Now, one of the interesting things is that Echo is around here too as well, and essentially, the only pass that is going to be opening, not semi-protected, is going to be the level 5 passes. So that will eventually open up. However, if you look through the Augerstone chapter for this season in Dragonfall, it doesn't look like any of the Zone 1s are going to be allowed to be invaded. And then the level 4 passes are semi-protected. So the only zone you can go into from the final zone is Zone 3. I, for one, would like to be able to see you also be able to invade the Zone 2, and then maybe at the very last part, invade the Zone 1. So, for example, I wish that the Zone 1s themselves, like this as an example, I wish the Zone 1s had a different level pass, and the Zone 2s had a different level pass, and the Zone 3, so that way you could open them up in order, right? So as an example, Final Zone opens, and then Zone 3 opens for you to be able to counter, push in, and then Zone 2 opens, and you can push in through that, so it loses its semi-protected status, and then Zone 1, right? Which is the same thing. It's doing that big U-turn we talked about, where you start Zone 1, you go Zone 2, Zone 3, Zone 4, and then you work your way back. Then you can attack from Final Zone into Zone 3, into Zone 2, and then finally into Zone 1. That's something I would like to see over a period. I mean, I would be open to that. Again, some people will be 50-50 on you being able to invade a Zone 1, but the chances is that you still can get some PvP out of it. And if you're only doing it maybe, let's say, the last couple days, I don't think it's that impactful. However, am I okay if they don't open up the Zone 1, but they at least open up the other zones? Sure. My point is just do it in chronological order ascending, and then just reverse it going in descending order. So as we look here, EIS and BXS are, at the moment, pushing. And they're already working on destroying the AF. It's got about 2 hours-ish or so. It's at 71%. And then I think they're also tearing down this keep. I don't know if I'm going to be able to click on it, depending. Maybe I just have to click here on keep. No? No? Nothing? Okay, I give up. And then if we go up here north, you can see there's a bunch of Echo peeps here. And you might be wondering, well, Echo, how did they get in here? Well, my theory at the moment is that they just walked through the passes, right? Because remember, any of your allies controlling passes, you're able to walk. So Echo basically either walked, or they're using that fellowship teleport thing that's going on. I've been hearing people talk about this, where it allows for you to form the fellowships and move over. However, because it's all Echo, I don't think that's the case. I think it's more likely that they're just walking through the pass and they're going this way, right? So it's like all the way up here, and then they got to go wherever the ramp is. Oh yeah, so they're gonna go dun 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 dun, and then come all the way down here, and wherever the ramp. Oh, sorry, there's no ramp there. So excuse me, they're having to walk the long way, and then they have to come like through here, right? Again, unless there's something else that I'm just not recalling or not remembering in this moment. I mean, it's not like there's 1,000 players there right now, but yeah, man, they definitely took a journey, and that's pretty much how this KvK is going. If there's anything else that maybe we're just missing out on, please feel free to let us know in the comments down below. We'd love it. Also, if anyone out there does any video editing, I am looking for an editor to possibly get into something new. That's all I will say. But if you do have any skills, please feel free to reach out. Okay, now we're going to get into the next zone here, which is for 2. And in this one, we have BDO, DBB, SSG, WGL. And then we have going up against NA, LAW, LTS, YBD. Based on this, it is pretty, I think, pretty Gucci's, if you will, here at the moment. I don't see SSG here, but again, you can see WGL, we see DBB, and BDO. I like how they have like this star thing going across the dragon, and they each kind of saved a fort there. I mean, that is something that we see, but it is nice to kind of, I guess, aesthetically pleasing, if you will. But this season's basically over at this point, where BDO, DBB, SSG, and WGL are taking the W there. Let me see if there's any action going on in, so this would be the Zone 2 here, and it looks like NA, let me see, LTS, who else do we have over here? Oh no, so we got SSG here. Oh, NA's here, so they're putting some pressure there on SSG. It looks like there's some fighting there going on, and you can see IMB, looks like DBB as well. Oh, I see, so they're pushing out and attacking NA right now. Okay. And it looks like NA has most of this, so I wonder if DBB is also pushing out on this front. Oh, they are. Look at this. So they're also pushing out and fighting tanks. So it looks like we're going to get some Zone 2 action here at the moment. And then I wonder if, it doesn't look like they're prepping, but YBD and Tank are already kind of like defending the level 5 pass, but it doesn't look like anyone's really building out to it at the moment. Unless maybe they're switching it up. Oh, they're not. Okay. So nothing's really happening there. Let's see here on the Zone 3. Doesn't really look like any action there. The other Zone 2. It looks like, yeah, it doesn't look like there's really anything happening there. They're already kind of built up. So basically the last zone that really could do something in is this one that NA has, along with TK and Tank. So yeah, but again, this season is basically already over. Now this KvK opened, let's see here if I can get this one right. This one opened about 2 days. So it's about 2 days in, KvK is already over. I mean, which could have been over within a day, right? And if it did, especially for these KvKs, please let me know. It would be nice to hear, like, how long did the KvK really last? Because I'm going to be honest, at this point, 1 to 2 days for the final crescendo zone, I can't tell you how disappointing that is to hear. And it sucks. Again, whether you want to put some of that on the teams and diplomacy, if you want to put some of that on the devs, possibly for matchups. But again, like we've said, we just need to have more kingdoms in the pool. That's one of the best ways that you're going to increase the likelihood that more people will fight, because you have an opportunity to have more balanced and fair matchups. You also need to make it so that way people can't migrate out during a KvK. That, I can't tell you how impactful and negatively hurtful that is for the morale. And then obviously, you're going to have some of that kind of Kingdom Alliance air on themselves, and then, some of it's going to be on the devs of the COD team. All right, next group we have here is going to be SOS 3-3. Now, this, I believe, is going to be the NTS. Who do I have here? Gen, NTS, MM, RFF, going up against TC, POTC, WTF, and NF57. You can see here, based on this, now this group has been here for, let's see, I think 2 days as well. Yes. So they've been here for 2 days, and the KvK is already over. You can see here that NTS, RFF, MM, and the Gen group have already taken over. Everything's been removed. They have built towers around, but again, right, it looks aesthetically pleasing. So let's see if there's any PvP going on, but again, it's already done. So it looks like we got RFF. Let me see here. So NF57. So maybe some action will happen here in the Zone 2, because they have built. This is probably the last. Ooh, look at that. There's a bunch of stuff going on right now. So NF57 looks like they're building. RFF is going to get some action in from there, and then it looks like MM and Gen, maybe they're pushing down. Oh, they're not. So basically, RFF is going to get some cool action. There's Zone 2. Zone 3, they're almost pushed out over here. It looks like they're probably building. Oh, yeah, but there's action going on. Oh, look at that. Put that work in. And then let's see what we got over here. Yeah, so MM's already built. Nothing's going to happen there. And then we have the last Zone 3, which, yeah, they're already built up. So, again, a little bit of PvP, but it's over, right? I mean, look at that. That's 3 of 3 KvKs that finished within 1 to 2 days. In the final zone, which is supposed to be the crescendo matchup, right? That's supposed to be where we're getting the most amount of PvP because the most amount of players are fighting. It makes you wonder, right? It makes you wonder. So again, I think some opportunities here. In this group, this is going to be, I believe, the FSK group. So we have here RK, T, Laws, FG, Dawn, going up against FSK, AXT, HOUW, and SJT. Now, in this group, they have been open for about 2 days, right? A day, almost, a day and about 22, 21 hours so far. However, once again, it looks like the PvP is pretty much done at this point, right? So you have, we got Laws, FG, Dawn, RKT, looks like Voss here as well, but they're basically all here, right? So nothing's really happening. Let's see if there's any action still going on in any of the zones, however. So let's see. So we got a little bit here. So it looks like FG, Laws, it looks like they're pushing up. So this could be something here for the Zone 3. Because, again, the opposite side, HOUT, AXW, they have territory. So they're probably going to start running through, I would imagine, the Zone 2s and the Zone 3s. A little bit of action that's going on there. Let's see up here. No, Laws in them. They've already kind of pushed them back at that point. So I don't think anything's probably going to happen there. In the Zone 3... no, winners are already there, and they've already kind of pushed back. Oh, no, hang on. It would be up here. Excuse me. Oh, no, it looks like they are. So it looks like they are pushing. Oh, well, I guess maybe not. Maybe there's just not any resistance. No one's even fighting at that point, so that could be the case as well. And then we got the Zone 2 down here, which, okay, maybe. So I guess it just depends if they're going to continue pushing down here on any territory. No one's building there. And it doesn't look like anyone's building there. Okay, so very, very light, minimal fighting at this point. KvK has already been decided. That's 4 out of 4 KvKs that have been open for 2 days and basically finished fighting within 1 day. I would argue is probably the case. I feel like it's been a day. So I mean that's rough, right? It's absolutely not a good look, and it absolutely sucks to see. Now in SOS 3-5, this group is very interesting because they switched the matchup here. Before, it was SLR, SVR, OG, L2NV, SHP, and WT, or 53, 73. Actually, I don't even know the numbers for the other ones, too, as well. So let me just not say that because I don't want to get confused. Versus MFD, Riven, LOCY, or LOCY, MBH, LOC, and JKL. Now, MFD, Riven, LOC, and then we have SVR and L2NV. So SVR and L2NV were on the other team. They swapped. And then on this side, it's MBH and LOCY that ended up going over to the other team. And I think JKL as well. Yes, and JKL. So it's kind of like a 2 alliance, 3 alliance swap. Now, the reason they're saying they did this was to make the final zone matchup a little bit more balanced. And a little bit more fair, so they can get longer-lasting PvP. If we look at how that is going, their final zone opened up around 3:45, so they've been going a little over a day and a half now. Based on the fact that it's a day and a half, they're still fighting in the final zone, I'm going to say that this feels like a W, and at least thus far. Right? It doesn't feel like this is kind of being negatively impacted by... And I want to point out, this is something that the teams and kingdoms themselves decided. They got together and said, hey, what do you all think about this? I have to imagine the majority, if not everyone, agreed. And now you're in a situation where you possibly are able to maybe have some longer-lasting PvP. Let's, of course, state the obvious. MFD does have, at the moment, a lot of territory here. And it looks like they have basically... It's interesting. You see this kind of inner circle. It's like they've established the inner circle, but they're getting pushed from the outside, right? And you can see that here with OGC, JKL. It looks like there probably is some action that's still going on here around the bridge area. Let me see here. I don't know how much, if we can zoom in. Okay. So a decent amount. that where they're still going hard, right? If we can see, I wish that thing loaded up a little faster. There we go. So action going on here at the bridge, good constant fighting, and then there's a bridge down here, and there's still consistent fighting. Now again, are they going to be able to break through? Will they not break through? We'll see. But at the moment, they're still getting some PvP in, right? Even if they're fighting on the bridges, and maybe, I imagine they possibly just got pushed out of the inner circle on the FZ, or the FZ's inner circle, but they're still fighting. So again, I'm happy. Now, I don't know if there's any other action going on in the zones. Personally, again, tactically, if you want to push in other zones, that could be a good idea. But I also respect the fact if everyone is just committing to fight in the final zone before you do anything in zone 2, zone 3, right? Again, I'll give some kudos. Bam. Soft tap, because it hurts. Next zone. So we got 3 left, or I guess 4-ish left. So this is going to be SOS 3-6. Now, in this group, we have, where's my group here? So this is INW4. Wait, where's final zone first? Thank you. INW4, mod -FU ANCS, RNW, Sura versus 54, UDF, AVIC or AVIC, 3TL, NXW, and MAD. However, it's basically over already, right? Now, this group, for them, this one opened up around, so we're almost 2 days. We're like a day and 21 hours into this final zone. It is pretty much over at the moment, right? Again, you can see here that 3TL, I think, is on the other side. So I just don't know if I don't know if they just cared, or maybe they're just not pushing that anymore. And we're just kind of back here at maybe just some bridge fighting that you see. 3TL is on the other side. But I mean, this is pretty much, it's done, right? The FZ is over. Now, again, keep in mind, any of these alliances and kingdoms can resurge and do some pushes into the FZ at any point, right, as long as they're connecting. But at the moment, it's done skis. So now, again, they're not going to push into the zone 1 because they can't. So it's basically just stuck to kind of fighting here on the pass bridge. If we look at the zones for zone 2, again, they're already pushed back, so there's nothing happening there. They're kind of already pushed back here, so nothing's happening there. If we go up here to top, we can see that it looks like RNW on their side has already pushed them back, so it doesn't really look like there's any action going on. If we look at the other side here, this maybe, let me see here what we have going on. So this is Inwa. This is, oh, okay. So this could be something. I don't know if they're going to decide to push this or not, but this is the zone 2. Zone 3, excuse me, where they could actually push into if they wanted to do some fighting. It doesn't look like there's anything going on right now, so I don't know if maybe there's just, I don't know, some kind of an agreement. Did UDF and AVIC, I don't know, I don't think it was like a switch of side thing, because I don't know if they're allowed in. Oh, interesting. So they actually are. Wow. So UDF and AVIC were on the other team, and it looks like maybe they switched. So something happened there in this KvK. I'd be curious to hear, because that's pretty wild. They were on the other team. Apparently they switched. They're allowed to come into FZ. Their zone 3 is not getting attacked. But again, the KvK's over. So I mean, how much enjoyment are you really having with what? Potentially a day worth of FZ PvP. It just sucks. Absolutely. SOS 3-7. For this group, their KvK opened 1 a.m. on the 16th, so we're about a day and a half, and a little bit less than a day and a half in for this group. This is RR Gray BOM CFR, CFRA, TDS DTF versus MT VP22 Mojo KL7 K282 and Meat. This KvK is basically over. Again, right, so you got about a day and a half, a little bit less than that, where FZ's been open. You can see VP22 Mojo, VP Mojo, and who else was that? KL7 are here. Doesn't look like anyone is really coming in. You can see CFRA and their team has been pushed back. Doesn't look like, let me see, we got the VP side. Yeah, I mean, again, that's just them coming in as well on the same team. So yeah, FZ's already been declared. Feels like a little bit of a letdown. Again, on the other side here, you can see, what do we got? Bomb. Again, they're already pushed back, right, to their FZ, already pushed, or sorry, to their starting zone or zone 1. Same on this side. It looks like there maybe is some action going on here. It may be a pass, but again, they've already been pushed back. Already been pushed back to the pass. Only have a little bit of territory left. And then when you look here, already kind of pushed back. Oh, wait, where's the zone 1? I have to look for that. There we go. So on this side, right, it's... Oh, so they actually have a little bit here. So DTF, it looks like there could be a little bit of stuff going on, fighting. But again, I have to imagine they're probably... Yeah, I mean, they're basically kind of still getting steamrolled at this point. Which again, I mean, they're getting pushed. Let's just call it how it is. So it doesn't look like they're pushing from... I don't know if they're pushing from this side. So maybe they're just pushing from one side. So again, a little bit left there in the zone 3. Nothing really going on. Now, there could be something here with the zone 2, but that's only if they're going to get pushed. This could be maybe the next thing that they do, but doesn't look like anything's really... Okay, so some light pushing here, but really hasn't ramped up too much. Again, FZ is already decided. Let's go to SOS 3-8. So in this group, for SOS 3-8, we'll go to the FZ. So here, this group opened up on 3:57 p.m. on the 15th. So we're over a little bit over a day and a half on this group. This is BBO, Horde, DK, Go, Scent, HOGW versus FVP, VH, Chubb, DAU, RR84, and PTKG. KvK is already decided. And again, BDO, Horde, DK, their group is the El Victoros. They've already pushed them back here. This is one. You could see here that it looks like they're... I mean, oh, okay. So it looks like Chubb has a little bit of territory here. And PTKG. So, okay. So maybe they're just going to get pushed back at this point. I guess it just depends on, like, what's going on here. Unless maybe they're, like, doing really good. Wow. So I guess they're just hard defending at this point. They're zone 3. I mean, it looks like they're holding to me. So, okay, decent. Then if we go down here, they've already been pushed back to their pass on the other side, which, again, this looks like, who do I have here? The R84 FVP group. If we go over to the zone 2, let's see how this looks. Oh, wow. So they've actually pushed this. R84, let's see here, DAU. Wow. So they have their zone 2 control at the moment. So I wonder if maybe just HOGW and DK, maybe they're just like, hey, we'll fight this, and then if we have time, we'll come back and fight this. But, I mean, there is an opportunity for a little bit of PvP. Looks like they're built out a little bit here on the DAU R84 side. I wonder if anyone's pushing them, but nope, no, nothing's being built. Is anything being built here? Nope, nothing's being built. Okay. So, yeah, it looks like maybe they're just content. We got the FZ. Maybe no need to go for some of the extra zones or push that hard. But yeah, KvK is basically over, a little bit over a day and a half in. Is it disappointing? Abso-freaking-lutely. Let's go to SOS 3-9, the last one here that we got for you guys. So in this one, we're going to have, I believe this is the SGW one, yeah. So here we got SGW, WAN, ANGE, ANGE, UST, and 377S versus O2A, REO6, LSL, SIG, Guns, 50W, Dusk, MEEP, VNWE, and YM30. All right, that was a mouthful. It looks like to me, and let's see here. So we got SGW, same team. Looks like this is WAN, same team. We got UST, same team. So it looks like it's basically Dunsky in this one. And let's see when they opened. So they opened 7 a.m. on the 16th. That was yesterday. So they've been fighting about a day and 3 hours about-ish. If we look at the groups here, we have on the other side, which was 50W. So it looks like they're getting pushed back. Don't know if they're building anymore. Let's see. Nope. So no more building. Again, pushed back. Probably nothing happening there. Let's see on this side. This is, well, MH2 and then MEEP. They're on the other side. So maybe there's action going on here. Are they getting their stuff removed? I don't know. Okay. So no. Looks like they're just not letting them continue to build in. And it doesn't look like they're continuing to build in here. So maybe, I don't know, maybe there was agreement or they just don't care to really push them out that much more. However, if we look at these sides, they've been pushed back to their zone 2. On the opposing team, and pretty much the same here, except it doesn't look like anyone's really pushing on that front unless they're building some stuff here, but it doesn't look like it. Let's see. Oops, let's zoom in. Nope. So nothing going on. If we go up north, Here to the other zone 2, you can see, again, they're already getting pushed in. I wonder if they're removing some flags here. Nope, not removing any flags, but again, don't really have a lot of territory to work with. Over here, it's kind of the same thing, right? They don't have a lot of territory at that point. Now, it should be stated that this matchup was pretty uneven-ish overall. I believe we covered this as well when we talked about it kind of post Brink of War and group. So the matchup here, there was essentially at one point before it was a switch up, I think about a 6.5 billion differential. You had just, I think more, let me see here what the total numbers looked like. Yeah, so there was 11 100 mil plus players on the side that's winning versus 0 100 million plus players on the other side, and then had 26 more 60 mil plus players as well. So, I mean, this was clearly just a lot more advantageous on that side. But again, what does this come down to, right? If we really talk about this in summary, the sad part is that you just need more, you need more kingdoms in the main kingdom pool, because that is what is going to allow for you to have more overall balanced and fair matchups. This, I almost want to say this could be the most disappointing KvK season to date. Like, I'm talking in kind of the modern era, maybe not accounting for like season 1, 1+, those ones, but maybe ever since season 2 and beyond was introduced, this arguably has to be one of, if not the most disappointing KvK seasons. When we're talking about specifically, I'm not talking about the overall amount of PvP. I'm talking about the fact that the final zone is and was supposed to be the crescendo PvP. It's supposed to be the zone where you have the most amount of PvP, the longest lasting PvP, because everyone is there. And the fact is that 8 of 9 of the Gen 1 KvKs were done probably within the first 24 hours. And some less. You only have one that's still going, and we'll see if they make it to 2 days. But based on how it looks, hopefully they probably will. That sucks. That's not what you want to see. Now, we're not saying we want to see 30 days of KvK in the FZ, but it's got to be more than a day or two, right? I mean, listen, even EIS and Echo fought for what they said supposedly was 7 days. I'll take that. I'll take 4 to 7 days, 5 to 7 days, right? I think that is a great number if you're aiming for final zone PvP, right? Kind of at minimum, average minimum. But did that happen? No. So again, it's rough, right? Because I have to imagine for some kingdoms and alliances that are going really hard in Zone 2 and Zone 3, and it's just, do you need to go that hard, right? Is this something we're going to eventually see a shift in where people will just not go that hard? They'll say, hey, we're going to fight until we're kind of until we meet a certain hospital threshold across the board, and then we'll stop, right? So it's like maybe they'll start telling their players, once you hit like 20% in the hospital or 30% or some number or percentage, they'll say just stop fighting, right? Because you want to make sure you can be full recovered for the next zone, or you just figure it out on, how long is it until Zone 3 opens, and then you'll fight, and then you'll just meet whatever threshold they set that will still allow for you to recover fully by the time Zone 3 opens. And then maybe the same thing for when Final Zone. But if Final Zone is supposed to be the crescendo PvP, at that point, right, could we maybe argue having, and again, I'm going to throw a hot take out here possibly, but could we maybe argue having shorter seasons where basically we go from starting zone straight into final zone? But maybe you tier off the final zone. Maybe there's tiers to the final zone, or maybe certain intervals on certain openings in the final zone, so that way all the fighting is condensed, possibly. Right? Or maybe you just open it up and you just see what it looks like. Like, it's just, everyone's there, everyone's fully healed, right? Maybe the KvK might be more enjoyable to a degree if it's just one massive final zone that takes a long time to build to, so you're going to get a lot of early and mid game open field before the territory connects. That could be something. Again, just a thought. I don't know. I'll have to think about this a little bit more. But it is one thing that I had thought of for a little bit. It had came to mind recently. It's just, yeah, man. It's like, listen, it's great that you're in some of the KvKs you're seeing quality and sustained fighting in Zone 2 and Zone 3, but that's not really where the final boss action is. We want to see that in the final zone. That's kind of the whole point. I'd love to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments down below. That's going to be it for me. As always, until next time, we'll catch you later.